Good morning, Pixelogic ZBrush Live, folks. Let's see. Now I'm curious if I'm even getting sound. Because that's how it goes, folks. That's how it goes. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, I am getting sound. Sweet. All right. All right. Okay, I'm gonna try to wait and see if I get everything going, and it seems so far as if it's having a slow startup. So let me know if you can see anything. Okay, good. We're getting something from YouTube. Some channel looks like it might not be dialing in, but we'll be happy to see you when you get here. How you doing, Akash? Salvatore. That's a cool name. That is a cool name. All right. So on my good, we got all sorts of people from back in the Eastern continent. Cool. Hello, Prashant. How you doing? Emmanuel, Akash. Good to see you again. Man, cool. YouTube's like alive and well today. Let me turn off my phone so that's not going to be a bother. All right. Cool. Yeah. We are doing well. All right. So, last week, for those of you who tuned in, had a good time turning my character into this toad-like dude. I still have a lot that I want to do on him, and I went through, and I don't know if any of you follow my Instagram, but those of you who do, it's a little bit. I don't like the dark on that one. Let's try a different one. Those of you who do, there's not really any way to get around it. We'll just open that up. I'll show you this. So I did a couple of paint overs, alternative versions, okay, that kind of help to see different ideas of what I can do with this guy. I want him to feel like he fits in with the Candyland scene, and make it so that, just so that it's a little bit more cohesive. Okay, so it feels like they all fit into the same world. Okay, the version that I want to push for is this guy here on the right, version D. Okay, it's a pretty typical practice in the entertainment industry to be able to go through when you work on something. Usually you're working with other artists, but since this is a solo project, do my own paint overs. So I went ahead and I did different variants based on different ideas I wanted to try to push for. Looking for a rounder face, looking for friendlier eyes, or for a more expressive face. Just different things like that, different characteristics. You can see I even tried an extra set of arms. Just something fun. Just having fun with it. So, so far it looks like I'm having troubles getting anything from Facebook. So if you are on Facebook and you have the ability to go over to something like Twitch or YouTube, YouTube is definitely working well right now. So just so that you're aware, because I'm not getting any of the chat from Facebook, it looks like, which I don't know why, but we'll figure that out at some point, probably. yeah, so this is kind of what I'm going to be pushing for. So what I can do, I'm going to pull up, and actually maybe I'll pull up this version because it has more of the face and less mustache, so it's just easier to see the face. Yeah, but it has the extra arms, so we'll just pull this up. We'll call this good. Okay. The thing that I like about this version, I like that the eyes feel they feel a little bit more friendly because they're bigger. Granted, we'll probably end up doing something a little bit different with them color-wise, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it turns out. So let's just dive in. See what we do. Let's start off right off the bat, playing with these eyes. Whoops. Turn that off, turn that on. Okay. Okay, so now we got the blank, like the concept. Let's see what else we need. Okay, big kind of purplish dot. Okay, so let's see, let's do something like this. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to have to worry about making it the exact same on each side. But I do want to keep the eyes separate. What I'm going to do is take this one, we're going to hit delete. Okay, we're going to come back to this original eye. And we got to kind of judge and see if that's about what we want. It's not looking too bad, but it's not looking too good either. That's the problem. Does feel like he's looking forward, so maybe we'll just end up doing something like that. Let's do that. Control-Shift-D. Just check to make sure we get rid of our geometry levels, deformation, and mirror that bad boy. Alright. Now you notice, like, if you're looking in the inside of the mouth, you can see the eyeballs poking through. That's a problem, but it's not going to be a problem for long because we're going to take the mouth and shift it down. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. That's going to be cool. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab these different mouth parts. Oh, here's it. Let's shrink that. Change our tools. And what's the weather like where everybody's at right now? Oh, so for this particular character, I'm using topology that I already had. Just working off of a base mesh. And the character that I started with was this guy. Of course, this is the posed version. But yeah, he's got all of his topology and everything in there. It's a lot easier to work with a humanoid character with this topology, but yeah, doing what we can with this guy. Okay. Do you feel warm at all? Mind if I turn on the AC? To yourself? It might not work, but if it does, you can be able to show up on your eye. Yeah, it was. Our daughter lost her first tooth tonight. Ripped it right out of her face. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. Chill weather in India, huh? Don't know I'd ever hear that. That's interesting. But I suppose, like, does India get up toward the Himalayas? Because I'm pretty sure you guys are close over there to Nepal, right? Nepal's like nearby, so you get the Himalayas coming down through there. Is that right? It's not a mountain range I've studied. But yes, Nepal borders India. So I was right. Cool. Awesome. What about the Himalayas? I was just looking it up just to see if I was correct on my geography, and I was. Geography is something I need to get better at. Probably. Probably. Smooth. If your smooth gets too intense, you can always take that Z intensity down and it'll be a little bit gentler when it smooths out. It's really nice. Okay, whenever you're going through and reworking a model, it's going to take some work, especially if you have things like really stretched out. It's always going to take some patience. But it's worth it. It's worth it. Ooh. Just keep telling yourself that, Steven. Ooh. Fish demon mustache. Fish demon mustache. Well, it's a dude, and he definitely has a mustache. Yeah, I did a poll for this guy the other day, or I guess last week sometime, on my Instagram. See what everybody thought, what their opinion was on different things to try with the face, things like that. And I did get a range of reaction to the the 4 concepts that I put up. I didn't do a huge amount of exploration, but I did enough to be able to see some different ideas that I liked. So what I ended up deciding on was keeping it to 2 arms. Okay, I'd explored checking out what 4 arms would be like, and there are a couple of people that liked it, but generally people were like, like, no. Let's see. Ooh, I should get these guys forks. Make a note. That's an idea. I mean, it's not something you'll stick with forever, right? But when you're working on something, you'll get like these really strange ideas sometimes, and you just gotta either like write it down because it might be a good idea, or you might decide later that it's just a terrible idea, which is most often the case. The other thing I gotta do is I gotta model some ears back on this guy. I have a couple of different things that I could do. Sporks. Yeah, the goal is to maintain good, clean topology. Otherwise, I could have gone through and used something like Sculptress Pro or Dynamesh. Probably Sculptress. I like Sculptress, but I just don't feel like it's like because I want to be able to go through and pose him and make good iterations and things like that. It's so much easier for me to do that if I have good, clean topology. So kind of fun. Try some stuff. Sometimes what I'll do is flip that inside out. Alright. Okay, so I want to keep those borders nice and tight. Okay, so there's kind of the start of that. Trying to figure out if I want to give him like more muzzle or not. We shall see, we shall see, we shall see, we shall see. Can we do Dynamesh only for selected polygroups and then copy its details to low resolution polygroup? In a way, yes, but it doesn't work quite like that. So if I wanted to, I could essentially go through, copy this mesh, work on the duplicate, like Dynamesh the duplicate, sculpt on it, make it pretty, make it exactly what I want, and then ZBrush has this this project capability underneath subtool. So any subtool that you have visible, it'll project whatever subtool is visible onto whatever subtool you have currently visible, because it's currently selected. And so it can be problematic sometimes. You got to be really careful about what you have on. And you also got to be careful about things like cavities. So like the inside of the mouth, the inside of the eyes. If you have cavities for the ears or whatever else, like underneath arms, between the legs, between fingers, things like that can be really, really tough to project. So a lot of times you just kind of want to be just uber careful. Really, really careful. But yes, so that's something that you can do. It's something that I have done. It's a way to be able to transfer topology to something that you have sculpted. So if you have a character that you've made, you can kind of like rework the topology to fit over the top of your sculpt, and then you can kind of project that onto it and get good clean topology for high resolution sculpt. It's a really tough way to get clean topology, because you're not always going to get something with good appealing contours and things like that. But yeah, so it's just something to be aware of. Since the last art jam, I'm kind of sure you have the cleanest topology. I like to keep it clean. It makes it so easy. Well, so much easier. Not necessarily like super easy, but it makes it a lot easier if I wanted to be able to change something on the fly. So yeah, it's that and my background is in production modeling, so it's it's definitely my preferred method of, you know, making things work is by keeping things in an order that I can work with. You know, if you can get things in a good clean order at the very beginning, it just makes everything so much easier. So much easier, guys, like so much easier. Manual retopo addict. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, it's a really relaxing thing to be able to do. It's definitely a lot of work, but boy, it's worth it. It is so worth it. And make sure I've got this good. Okay, we're good. We're good. So yeah, this is another thing that makes it really, really nice. Having good clean topology is that because I have the edge flow going around the character's face, around the mouth, around the nose, around the eyes and ears. Well, I don't have ears on right now. I'll have to put ears on. But because I have those things in there, it makes it really easy to make that nasolabial fold. A lot more freedom. Control, I think, is kind of my favorite part of it, for sure. Yeah, see, I wanted to change something there. Oh. Wait, shoot, everybody's like talking at the same time. Oh, thanks, ZBrush Princess. You're right. Muchtato. Yeah, clean topology is also very good and important for rendering and whatnot. It makes it less artifacts. Exactly. Any way to keep cavities while Dynamesh? You can, if you work with a high enough resolution of Dynamesh, you can keep your cavities and work with it just fine. That's really, really tricky though. So I like to use Sculptris Pro. That's one of my favorite things to do because it only adds resolution where you need it. And so if I'm sculpting in an area, it's going to change the resolution in that area depending on my brush size and my settings, right? But it's not going to do anything to the rest of my sculpt. So it makes it really, really easy to work with. Yeah, I love ZModeler. So a lot of what I'll do is like I'll use a combination of ZRemesher and manual topology and like with the topology brush or whatnot. Not very often with Z-spheres, but most often with like ZRemesher and topology brush. And then I'll go through with ZModeler and I'll fix things. I'll fix flows, I'll fix forms, I'll fix everything. It's such a beneficial workflow. I use it for everything at work. I use it I use it at play. I just use it for everything. I love ZModeler. Mucho potato. How about making polygroups part of the big part of eyes, mouth, separate? How about making polygroup a big part in eyes, mouths? So a lot of it kind of just depends on what it is you want to be able to control. Something that my mentor taught me is using polygroups to be able to establish landmarks. This one, I think I might want to kind of smooth that out some. But what's nice about this is that I can very quickly and easily say, all right, this is yeah, I can't decide if that's working for me or not. I can decide, okay, so this orange poly group, that's representing the outside of the eyelids. I've got this green one to represent the bottom of the nose. So if I wanted to modify it, I could just, I could mask that out, and I could come over here and I could start changing the form, the basic form of that shape. And then I can just start modifying everything else to fit that. And then I've got a different nose. So I got all sorts of flexibility and things like that, and it helps to just kind of establish landmarks, turning of the form. You can see I've got different polygroups underneath here for the inside of the mouth, and there's a different polygroup for the top lip than there is for the bottom lip, and then a different polygroup for the inside of the mouth. It's really cool. There's even one for the jawline. And that was an interesting technique that I saw from my mentor, and it's been helpful. I mean, it's been helpful to be able to establish landmarks and to be able to establish form and shape. Let me see if I can pull up. Curious where. Go to character. Nope. Old. Char 4. Maybe. Yeah, looks like it. You can see there's the teeth. Okay, let's just come over here. Not mRGB, just M. Z plugin, subtool, master, fill, material. Okay. That way everything's just kind of uniform. Okay. So same thing, same principle. So the same loops that we have around the nose are reflected over here on this character. I did have to modify it quite a bit since this character is going to have like a really different facial shape. It's just just playing with it, making it its own thing or whatnot. But yeah, definitely a lot of playing to make it feel right. Okay. these little hair bits. I did take them from my other character because I like how they turned out. They're just simple, but I made them using my hairbrush. In fact, I don't even know if I have it loaded. Nope, I don't have it loaded. Let me show you real quick, because this is these are fun brushes. Oh, must-haves, brushes. So this is my hairbrush. Really nice and effective brush to be able to use. You have brushes like this where it's like multi-strand, so you can go through and you can kind of tear it apart, something like that, and it has detail built into it. So when you and creasing too, the creasing is important. So as you go through and as you have your stuff drawn out, you can have. In fact, that's really kind of an interesting shape. I am going to take a screenshot of that. Let's do it. Let me see. Let's go to quick access. Let's go to Candyland, please. Charby. Ha ha. Okay. Just because it's just kind of funny, right? Yeah, it's not something for real. All right. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and we'll take that back. But that's the brush that I use to be able to do my character hair. It's really helpful. I may have used it for other things at work too, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So let me see. Is anybody watching the World Cup? Anybody excited about a specific team? Sometimes what I'll do is I'll establish a polygroup for this area, this nasolabial fold, but like Argentina because they got long hair and look like metalheads. That's kind of a funny approach to it. Hola Jorge, how you doing, bud? Okay, let me see. One of the things that I did in my sketch, it looks like I made the eyes bigger. I made them more exposed. So trying to think what can I do to let's take, I'm going to crunch this together some carefully, of course, right? Oh, so that screen grab hotkey, it's actually an app that you can put on your computer called Lightshot. Okay, it's a fantastic app. It's easily the best screenshot app I've ever used. Rivaled only by the standard screenshot capabilities in a MacBook, like the Apple computers. I like those. Those are pretty fantastic from that standpoint. Okay, I'm gonna want to modify this. It's too. You see how it like had too much space, and the spacing overall was kind of off. So that's something that I want to go through and try to fix a little bit. It's kind of tricky sometimes, but it's definitely well worth it if you can get it to. If you can get it all to work out. And I think we can. Let me see. India. More poking out. It's kind of creepy. You don't like the poking out eyes? See, one of the things that I kind of want to achieve with this guy is to make him feel more toad-like. Oh, and one of the other things that I want to go through and do is work on my dragon. I've been kind of struggling with how my dragon had been looking, and I've wanted to modify it, make it, give it some more appeal. So I went through and did some sketches that that really I found a lot more appealing. And so that's better. So what we're going to do is I'll show you in a few minutes. But we'll go through and we'll re-sculpt at least a little bit the dragon head and show you kind of what it is that I'm thinking of doing. Limitations of ZBrush. The only limit is your imagination. No, that's total joke. Limits of ZBrush. It kind of depends. Depends on which algorithm you're running, because there are six algorithms that you can run. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4, maybe 4 algorithms you can run with ZBrush. It's kind of a tricky game to play, but some of the things that I find it to be really good with. Okay, I find it really good with hard surface shapes. So things like shells, not like seashells, but shells like on a vehicle or on a robot, paneling, that type of thing. It's really good with cream sauce over angel hair pasta. Just kidding. It's really fun. It's really fun. It's a tricky tool to play with, but it's really good. I feel like it's going to sell me something weird, like in Studio Ghibli films. Yeah, kind of. Hello, Day in the Sky. That's I don't think I've seen you in like forever. Seems like I used to see you on streams a long time ago, and with Shane possibly. You see other limitations that ZRemesher can have. ZRemesher struggles sometimes if your booleans are not clean. So like if you're using booleans, it'll also struggle if you're having like really kind of messy decimated topology. So like if you're trying to ZRemesh something that has holes and stuff that isn't very clean, then it's really kind of not fun to deal with. It does, however, handle it immensely better than it used to. It doesn't do the spirals anymore like it did in version 1 and 2. Well, I guess 2 didn't really do it as much, but yeah, they've done some incredible work with it. So really, it's just something to kind of play around with and figure out. First phases, starting a high poly sculpt, preparing your mesh. Is that subdivide, dynamesh, or remesh? If I'm just working from a speed sculpt and I'm just not even worrying about topology at first, and I need to remesh, then I'll go through and I'll really just worry about form and design and things like that, and then I'll go through and I'll just do my topology depending on what it is that I want to use it for. If I need it to be clean so that I can pose it for printing, then I'll sometimes just go ahead and, oh, there we go. I like that. Oh, that's got character. Oh, baby. Yeah, yep, that's him right there. I'll sometimes go through and use ZRemesher and then clean things up as needed. If it's more for something that I want to be more demo reel worthy, like right now, this character is, well, this project is something that I want to have, for a demo reel. I want it to look nice. I want it to be presentable, and so having clean, presentable, production efficient topology, it's important. I might add ears back in. I want to add ears back in. Okay, I think what I want to do, I want to move that nasal labial fold up a little bit. Let's move it out like a couple of, maybe out to this ring. So here's what we're going to do. Let's invert that. And see, because I have clean topology, it makes it really, really simple to wait for quick save to do stuff. Trying to decide if I like that better or not. Okay. See, that feels like a more natural placement, but I don't know. I don't know if I like that better or not. The hard thing for me about having the placement there for that fold, even if it feels more natural, is the having so many more edge loops through here, which I could go through and take one out. Let me do that. Insert. Hit solo, just make sure that I'm getting a good edge loop. That'll work. Yeah. There we go. That's feeling much better. And the reason why I wanted to move it out in the first place is that that fold kind of connects more behind the nostril, and so having it where I had it, I wasn't really able to take advantage of a more natural anatomy for the character. So crazy, so crazy, so crazy. I do kind of wish I had another loop that comes down here. I'm sure he wishes I had another loop too that came down. Let's do that. Okay guys, favorite movie that you've seen lately? Or favorite book that you've read? Maybe you're not into movies, maybe you do books. When I do manual read topology, I'm like, I don't even think about anything. Just a blank stare, savage look in the eye, and subconsciously adding polys. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Let him hear. Are you talking about the ears? Are you talking about the ears? Yeah, the hard thing about breaking it into different groups, or like if I were to go through and try to remesh it, it loses the strength of the topology flow that I have now. So it's there's like this is just actually quite faster because it's controlled. I don't have to worry about losing that control at some point or another. It's fun. You like it. Annihilation. Trying to think. I don't know that I've heard of that one. Yeah, so we will be doing a ZFriends broadcast once a month. Don't want to do it too often. It's fun, but you get burned out. Then it's nice to have family time, you know. That's not even the secondary consideration to it all. But yeah, so that'll be on the 25th. It's a little under 2 weeks from now. All right. I'm gonna come over here. Let's steal the ears. Let's come back over here. We'll say insert. And then let's say delete hidden. Alright, let's see if we can get this. Yeah, you know what? Let's actually keep it a little bit further away from the head so we can. Its chin looks a little bit edgy. Does that look a little bit better? A little bit less frightening? Yeah, that's working. Oh yeah, and these ears are the wrong color. My favorite animated movie. Oh my goodness. I gotta think about that one. Gotta think about that one. I was really happy with how. Oh, no, never mind. I thought about it long enough. It's the Spider-Man movie. It's Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse. You know, even just beyond the cool effects, it had a great story, engaging characters, fantastic design. And all of that was just super supplemented by a really strong story, a really strong and engaging plot. I still haven't watched it with my kids because I don't want them to get violent. Although I watched Star Wars with them recently, and they seem to do fairly all right. Yeah. Okay, here's what I need to do. So, what I had done to be able to make this topology work for my characters. I went through and I got rid of the ears, and then I had to do some modification to the topology to make it work. So in order to kind of figure out what I need to fix in order to make this work, putting the ear back. Okay, I see what I need to do. Okay, so that first row, so whenever I'm trying to work with topology, I'm always looking for landmarks. So these 5-pointed stars, changing the polygroups, things like that. Respect for doom. Doom. What is that referring to? Are Doom videos counted as movies? The British nature documentaries. Yeah, that's kind of funny. My kids love those. So I really, a character from Spider-Verse is my favorite, and why? I love Miles because I like seeing his change. I like seeing the way that he was able to adapt to his new lifestyle and to everything that's going on with him. I mean, for Pete's sake, he just turned into Spider-Man, even though there was already one. And then all of a sudden, all these other spider people start coming into the picture. It's kind of a disorienting thing. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So one of the things that I felt bad, like I felt bad for him because he just had so much going on, and he had no way of being able to figure it out on his own. And he had all these mentor figures kind of coming into the picture, and they could kind of help him, but not really. And I don't know, it was really fascinating. It was really nicely done. But I also really loved his dad. And the reason why I feel like his dad was a powerful character, that's gonna be too many loops going up. I might have to like move this down some or something. But I feel like Miles' dad, I mean, he wanted to have a strong relationship with his son, and that was hard for him to try to figure out how to do. Just teenagers. But yeah, I found that really compelling. The way that those family relationships kind of played into the strengths of the characters, how they played into those character arcs. It was cool. It was cool. Let's see. One, 2, 3, 4. So that does play. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. So yeah, I need to get this to be 1 down, which means we're going to start deleting some polys. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, I want it to be this one. I want to say, let's say bridge points. I want to go 2 points. it the right one? I think I did it one too low. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, that's already good. Okay, so all I need to do really, instead of going clear over here, let's just come over here. Let's just work with this. I keep jumping across programs and it's not working for me. I almost did it again. Let's see. Yeah, cool. So essentially we're just going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 on the front. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the front. Oops. And then I think that should be... It should be good for starters. Okay. Merge down. Okay. Let's make sure we have our mask cleared off. Let's come up here. Watching me work makes you want to work. Well, good. I could be okay with that. And by the way, it's totally cool if you like want to work while listening, or if you don't even want to listen, maybe you just want to, you know, whatever you decide to do. You know, it's totally cool. Usually, what I'll do is that if I'm listening to a stream while I work, it's usually like at work. And so I'll usually have it playing in like the background and working, you know, working. Quick save is always like right in right in time with me actually doing something. Technically, you can kind of turn it off. You can change like the time duration or whatever. Okay, it doesn't want to stitch together. Okay. That's really funny. Did you know that people with tattoos are just people without tattoos, but with tattoos? True fact. Yes, it is. Yeah, I was thinking about having it away from the head for a little bit to be able to do that same thing. I usually do. In fact, yeah, let's just do it. The hard thing about moving it away from the head, especially if you get it, just the right distance, is that it can be tricky to see exactly where your connections are supposed to be and things like that. So that's why I was trying to keep it pretty tight, pretty close. But no, you're right. I mean, it's definitely easier to see what's going on. Okay. Stitch. I should be able to get this point now too. Maybe not. First point, end point. No. Maybe we do it backwards. Start point, end point. No, doesn't want to work. Try this again. Good grief, come on. Come on. That one worked. Good golly, what's going on? Okay, let's try this again. Start point, end point. It says it's non-symmetrical, which I don't believe for half a second. Oh, I believe it now. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go. Mirror and weld. Ya pues. Órale. Okay, here's what we're gonna do because I know that this will work. So let's say close. Say that whole. No, not like that though. Not like that. Not like that. Let's see really quickly how we can do the back of the ear. How we need to do the back of the ear. Because I think I need to do some bridging for this to work. Okay, so that's. Yeah, I do need to do some bridging. Some bridging to get over to that. Okay, let's do this one more time. Okay, we'll say mirror and weld. just to make sure that's the same. Okay, so right here, this is where we want to bridge. Okay. So now in theory I should be able to come over and bridge between the rest of these for a moment. Okay. No, I need that. Okay. Let's do this one. Do that. Smooth that into itself. And then we got this other stuff to deal with. Okay. Let's see if I can figure out why this isn't going in. Oh, I'm good. Okay. Now we can do this. Let's see. Well, we could just do it just plain and simple, just say bridge. In fact, let's just do this one too. Control-Shift-X. And that works. It's not quite what I wanted, but it works. Now I can just come through here, mask that, put it into position, and then start to sculpt it until it's right. Sometimes you just gotta make some little compromises. I mean, it still works. It's not quite the same as the other one, which is what I wanted, but whatever. Do I usually stay up super late? Yes, yes I do. Like way too late. Though not as late as I used to. It's kind of the funny thing about like getting old and having kids is that you all of a sudden can't stay up as late as you used to. Like when you were in college and you had next day deadlines and whatever. Plus, I actually have to work in the morning. I would be working from home in the morning. I've got some stuff to wrap up for a ride at Disneyland Tokyo. But I totally forgot the sneaking file at work. So I got to go back to work to be able to pick it up. Which is not cool for a Saturday. Saturday is like my day. That is the day where everybody wants to just be able to, chill, just, not do that sort of stuff. But I got to. I value my job. you want, there's the little stool over there you can pull over for your. Oh, you're gonna sit on the bed. Día tras día y tacita tras tacita. I haven't really thought of like a backstory for this guy. Really, like, just the simple story of it all kind of is it's coming together as I go. Which is really fun. At the same time, it's kind of tricky because it's like, you know, anytime you design as you go, it goes so much slower. Everything goes so much slower. If you have kind of a really clear idea of what it is that you want to achieve with something, then it'll go much more easily, much more efficiently and whatnot. But yeah, with this particular project, my idea has evolved. I think every week that I've turned it on, that I've logged on to the stream, which is fine. I mean, you know, I don't really have a particular schedule to keep with this guy, but I don't know, c'est la vie. So what does everybody like to do? What are your hobbies? What are your career interests? What I don't like how that's looking right there, so you gotta clean that up some. See. So outside of art, and character-driven stuff, I really like sketching. I really like drawing, but I also really like riding my bike. That's something that I try to do as often as I can. I just got my bike over to work, and so I've been riding that mostly during lunch, but I'll also ride it to meetings and things like that sometimes. It's been really good, and it's been a good break for from having to sit at a desk all day long, you know. Okay, that looks much better. Now, so far as I need to reshape these ears. It's always like sculpting is resculpting. Topology is retopology. Anything you do with this stuff, it's going to be just kind of like reworking it all the time. Whenever I look at stuff that I've already worked on, stuff that I've already done, when I smooth it, there's always a tremendous amount of stuff that I need to make more better. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. I'm sure you all know that. Okay, that's a tremendous amount better. I'm liking how that's looking. Alright. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. I know that feeling. I have a nephew and I'm learning something or have practice when he comes in my house. Like, well, gotta turn it off, not touching the PC till the next day. Yep, this is why I always was forced to sit down and think about life for half an hour before I start with new models. It cleans your head, saves a lot of pointless work. Yeah, it can. MTB. Road or MTB? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, it looks like I'm having skipped frames. Let me see if I can. Oh, mountain bike. Yeah, mountain bike. I have a road bike, but I don't feel safe riding that one because the tires get punctured too easily. And the drivers around here are lunatics. Like, they are absolutely terrible. Very inconsiderate of pedestrians and cyclists, and it's just not a fun cycling culture here. Even though there are a ton of people who are absolutely outside their minds in going everywhere on their bikes, but yeah. So anyway, my road bike was kind of a tricky one to play with, to use from that standpoint, in that I just didn't feel safe because I needed to be riding somewhere where I couldn't puncture my tires. Riding on the sidewalk was tricky because, I mean, it's the sidewalk. There are people, there are cracks, things like that. All sorts of ways that I could, either jostle my tire, my rims. That's a mistake right there. What do you say we fix that? Come on, there we go. Oh, we got some here on the front too. Such a painful thing to have to go through and do. But it happens. Shoot. Alright. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that fixed it. Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. Trying to decide. Oh, pardon me. Max my intensity. I liked that color actually. Okay, let's turn that up. Turn this way down. I just kind of want to get a little bit of like a gradient look in that eye. Yeah, there we go. Delete, okay. Control Shift D. Mirror. Oh. Delete lower. Now mirror. Okay. See See, that's looking so much better already. Oh. Oh, downhill longboarding, dude. Yeah, that's intense. Like I've seen videos of people going down those hills on those skateboards, and that is intense. Like on every other level, it's so crazy. So crazy. How did you get into that? Do you do it competitively, or is it just for fun? Just something you guys just go up and you just shred down the hill? And where do you do it at? I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, like, you gotta have somewhere to practice, and if you're just going down a hill where there are potentially other cars, I mean, dude, that's just like, I get nervous for you, man. That's that's like crazy. Alright. I'll have to worry about teeth a little bit later. I'm just not I'm not able to really think about what I want his teeth to look like quite yet. I think I want them to be kind of like big and stony, but not totally sure yet. Okay, let me see. I want this portion to be its own polygroup. We're going to give this character a different pant style than the other one. Delete hidden. So the idea behind this character, I kind of wanted it to be somewhat Studio Ghibli sort of style, but he's going to be like a little dragon rider character. So that should be really quite fun. I'm just trying to go through and get the shape feeling cool and feeling like it's kind of working with the anatomy. Maybe I'll just smooth it out, or maybe even better, here's what we'll do. Let's insert 2 extra little loops in there just to kind of better keep that volume and to keep the edges spaced out better, you know. It's kind of nice, kind of helpful. feels like it's just too lumpy. Okay, so so apparently now is a good time to go to Disneyland because everybody is so focused on the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge attraction that just opened, that everything else is practically empty. I heard this from people at work, so it's pretty reliable. Yeah, I thought it was funny. I thought that was really funny. Yeah, so the intention is for him, this guy, to be writing one of, well, I'm going to have one on each of the dragons. I want to play with the idea of having hair on them too, like. Let's see, color, fill object. Okay, and then I want to. Sometimes it's just about having fun, right? Split unmasked. Let me see. Northern LA. Oh man, that's so hard. That's so hard having an accident with stuff like that, because I'm sure that was probably pretty pretty heavy, pretty bad. Start shrinking it a little bit. Trying to decide if I like that or not. Ponytail and beat both sides like a candy wrapper. That's really funny. That's really, really funny. 127 hours. Come down here, let's get some polygroups. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. There we go. Here's what we need to do. Maybe we'll just move this down, make it kind of like this back of the head thing. Kind of like that style. If I ever go bald. Just kidding. Any advice for staying motivated? Advice for staying motivated, and then there's a link. Let's see. Muscle Kid Morph. It almost looks like it would be holy crap. Yeah, that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. It was really different, really, really strange. Let me see. Close that down. Staying motivated. Well, staying motivated, you gotta find something that motivates you. If you know, like myself personally, I feel like I'm most motivated when I'm challenged, when I keep focused on my family, when I, you know, things like that. And you know, like if things are bad at home, or if I feel like I'm bored, I feel like then it becomes much more difficult to stay motivated. if I feel like I'm bored, I'll try either working on something else or going somewhere else, like on a bike ride or on a walk. If I'm just working on personal projects and I just need a break, it's always a good idea to just go be with the family, just go do something, go eat. I don't know, do something else that you enjoy, and then come back to what you need to do after you've kind of cleared your head. Oops. Those are some of my favorite things to do. And it's not always easy to be motivated, and that's okay. You don't have to stay motivated all the time. It's a lot of pressure. You know, that's it's just one of those things that you do have to find motivation sometimes. You do have to motivate yourself sometimes. Just kind of, you know, kick yourself into gear. It just depends on what your deadlines are like, or what your company culture is like, or what your clients' needs are, you know, whatever it is. But once you go through and figure those sorts of things out, it's so much better, because then you can actually figure out exactly what you need to do in order to take care of you, take care of what's most important. Priorities are always important to kind of go through and think about. Always. Come on. But yeah, staying motivated. It's a struggle sometimes, and that's okay. Hold on to things that you like to do. Find understanding of why you have to do certain things, but then understand that you can let go and just do something for you every once in a while. Yeah. And hold on tight to the people that love you, because they're what's most important. Let me see, auto loops. Oh, that's funny. It's like they kind of mimicked the color of whatever it was that they were following. Thanks, Rye. Yeah, no, I super enjoy watching other artists as well. It's like there's just something about it that I feel gives me this energy and this just this motivation. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Here is what we're gonna do. I want to give it like a little kind of wispy, not super wispy. It's gonna be kind of chunky wispy, but it's going to have, you know, some of this hair strand stuff in there. So what I'm gonna do, oops, I need to make sure that I have the right color. And drag that up a little bit. You know what? One of the other things I can do is I can take my stroke. I can come over here to my size, make it big there, make it start off skinnier, and make it end skinny too. Oops. Come on, you. There we go, that's what I wanted. I don't want these other pieces over there. So let's just get rid of these. But good night. That is something else. Okay. One of the tricky things you can do with these curve brushes is you can grab onto it and then hold control, and that'll allow you to kind of twist the curve, and that is so tremendously helpful. I can't tell you how helpful that is. It's really helpful. Yeah, delete hidden there. Ooh, the haircut's got a name. Manchurian haircut. Let's look it up. Yeah, I'm getting it really similar. Google changed their interface. Dang it. Let me see. It's kind of interesting. It's like sometimes they'll pull up very related images. Other times, very non-related images. But yeah, that's the name of the hairstyle. Yeah. So just kind of trying to keep it somewhat simple. And then let's just kind of bring these in. What's nice now is that I can break symmetry, and I can use my move topological brush, and I can kind of break up some of this, some of these pieces. I could delete some if I wanted to. I probably won't, but I could. So I think next week, what I'll probably do is I might get back to working on the environment part of it, the environment part of my piece. So I've had some interesting ideas that I kind of want to push around. So I'll probably I will probably play with that some. It's a good time for some good fun with it. Apparently it's a good time for some fireworks too, even though in my town it's not permitted. But really, since when did they care in LA, right? Answer is they don't. They don't do anything about it. They always threaten like up to $5,000 fines for illegal fireworks outside of certain dates, and it's like, no, they don't do anything about it. Okay, that's maybe not true. They don't catch anybody doing anything about it. Okay, so that's kind of the trick right there. See that? The end has the little hair pieces. All of them are kind of like clumped together. And you can use another thicker piece on the inside as like a filler piece, and that helps to make it so that you don't have to worry about doing a ton of these hair chunks to make it all work. You can just add in your hair chunks to make, like, to break up your silhouette, to control your silhouette. And then you can add your, you have that main chunk in the center as your filler, as your main body of the hair. And I do that a ton, and it's super, super helpful sculpturally. In production, not as much, but since this is something more for show. A ver. That'll work. some places it's good to go through and just kind of make sure that it's not penetrating, it's not coming through. It'll help strengthen the overall look, make it cleaner. Okay, cool. Auto group that so that each of these are solid polygroup, and we are looking good. Check that out. Check that out. Mr. Toad's got some hair. Appreciated having you guys in the chat. It's been fun having the engagement. I feel like some weeks are really quiet, and some weeks there's a wealth of people on the chat, and I think it's fun. So good on you guys. Thanks for being here. Let's see, let's take that. Just gonna kind of stretch it out. Okay, here's a question for you. What's a store that you remember from growing up that doesn't exist anymore, or that you haven't seen in a long time or been to in a long time that you'd love to go back to purely for nostalgic sake? I was talking to a friend of mine earlier who had his last day at Disney today. I gotta save this. I haven't saved this at all. Let's version it up. Had his last day at Disney today, and he was talking about, well, I guess in conversation, I don't remember how we got to it, but got to the point of talking about Blockbuster and how he misses having the Blockbuster around and being able to go and pick out a movie and and make sure to let him know about the library and that it's free. It's nice, but yeah, it's just something about the nostalgic quality of having the Blockbuster. He misses it. It's kind of fun. For my wife and I, we don't like seeing the bookstores going out. It's kind of hard to see that. We like going, walking around, looking at the books. It's just fun. So what about you guys? What do you miss? Or what's your favorite store to visit? That's way too powerful. I need to get some more dark along here. Mom and pop toy shops. Those are fun. Those are fun. There's one kind of close by here, or one that used to be here anyway. It was fun to go to. We only went once, maybe twice, before it closed down. But yeah, those are fun. I love studying toys and seeing the way that they're made, because they're different depending on who made them, right? So yeah, I really enjoy that. You need ZBrush again? Well, if you need ZBrush again, one of the cool things you can do is you can always do a subscription, or you could just get it. Did you buy it before, or did you rent it already for a month, or did you have like a trial, or? I had a student that went through and kind of just lived trial version to trial until they got through the class, which, sure, I guess. Made Tupac in that time? What? Like a model? Like you modeled Tupac, or? That's a little bit better. Trying to decide if I want to give him his belly button now and how high I want it to be. Trying to decide if I want it up here. It needs to be a little bit lower. Let's go ahead and say split point. Yeah. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to let's do this. Let's say do not crease. Okay. Let's say slide edge partial. Come on. Oh, come on. Let's do this. Just to make sure. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's say. Okay. Insert single edge loop. And then we'll stitch 2 points to the end point. That's great. similar in color. It's always kind of a pain when it's too similar in color to the poly group around it. Oh, that's why. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like people who can do really good likenesses. In fact, let me see. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, some of my favorite likeness sculptors always been Vimal Kirkata, and Hossein Diba. Both of them are just phenomenal sculptors. I wish someday to be as good as they are. Someday. Of course, most of what they do is very different from what I do, from what I care about doing. There we go. That feels more like a belly button. That's better. Yes. All right. Thanks, man. 2 less shoes, huh? That's fun. I like seeing the different handles of the people that come onto the stream. It's just fun. Oh, I thought about giving him a little hat too. I don't know, what do you think? Should I give him a hat? Let me see, it's initialized, take it to a cube. Where is my cube? It's clear down there. Yeah, I thought about, I've tried to go through and look at some traditional traditional Japanese style hats. Not a ton, because I mean, obviously I don't have a ton of time, but increase PG, Control D. But I did find a couple that I thought were kind of fun, so I figured I'd go through and make them and decide whether or not I actually want to keep them. Obviously they're going to be like really stylized hats. They're not going to be very hyper realistic or anything like that, but oh, come on, you. Alright, so there's that one, and that'll work for one. Let's see if I can get a little bit more interesting of a shape there. Okay. Let's rename some things. Arrow 1, hat 1, hat 02. Okay. Interesting. Okay, well, yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so one of the hats that I saw, it's from northern Japan, this island that's like abandoned. Not abandoned. It has like, apparently, like traditionally Japan doesn't really claim it per se, because it's more the indigenous populations. Yeah, I don't know what it's like modern day. It's just kind of like the article that I read on it. talking about these indigenous people who are very different from what you would think of as modern Japan. The way they dress, the way they groom, they have bears. Like they keep bears as pets. I don't know. I thought it was really quite stellar, right? Really interesting, but yeah, we'll have to see what we do with this. I don't remember if it's the Anu or if it's something else, but I think that sounds familiar. What was it? Indigenous. There was a different name for it. Maybe it was just the Anu. But it's like, I don't know, I'm not getting the same imagery and whatnot. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's the Anu. Really kind of interesting, very different sort of traditions. Yeah, they are pretty dang cool. Okay, that's kind of a cool hat. So far we have this hat, we have this hat, which is a whole lot less cool to me right now. Do something more like that. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So we've got this hat, we've got this hat. Control Shift D. Let's see. Let's Control Shift A to show all. Let's delete hidden. Let's see. Let's say extrude polygroup island. Let's do something like that. Slide edge loop partial. Let me see. Oh, come on, insert. Here we go. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. Okay. All right. One of the things that I learned too is that I've got these all wrong. Okay. These need to come back quite a bit. And it was interesting. So the thing that I noticed was that the back one, it doesn't go back all the way, but it does go back enough to be underneath that leg as like a balance thing. And then it's like the front one is underneath the ball of the foot, which allows you to be able to like rock forward a little bit, which makes walking a little bit easier. Instead of like walking on platforms, you're walking on this little bit of a almost like a rocking horse sort of effect, which I think is pretty stinking cool. Okay, purely because I want to get these characters kind of as tied away as I can. Okay. So we're going to make this just pants. This is going to be delete hidden. We're going to be a little bit experimental, non-traditional, design heavy. Give them sort of like this apron sort of look. We'll see how that looks. We'll see how that goes. See about getting rid of some of these. It's got like one extra loop back there that I don't feel like I need. Let's do this. Do that and that. Okay, you guys, would you rather? Would you rather not be able to read or never see another screen the rest of your life? That's a tricky question. Let's see. Scrolls. You're going back real far. I'm curious to see actually if anybody goes with screens, because so much of what we do on a screen has to do with reading. So if you can't read, yeah, there's only so much you can do even with a screen. Say delete that, delete that, delete poly loop. Oops. I'm glad nobody's saying screens, because that'd be I'd be absolutely confused. But you know, some people can't do without their daily dose of whatever. No, extrude nylon, please. Alright. How about that? ZBrush does need a screen. But Clay doesn't. You're not choosing screens just for ZBrush, are you? Wouldn't that be interesting if we did have like a culture, a modern day culture, where half of the people chose screens and half of the people chose reading? It's like, what would that be like? What would that be like? That would be so bizarre. So bizarre. But I mean, I could almost imagine it being like you know, people have to absolutely help each other, or else there's like no way that anybody could get anything done. It's like everybody be working in pairs. You get the people that can read as like supervisors, and the people who look at the screens or use the screens would be like, yeah, sure. Be like the workhorses. I don't know. Because there's just so much that needs to be done on screen according to, like, you know, modern day culture. It all comes down to what the culture is and what the culture utilizes, you know. So it's just kind of funny to think about what that would be like, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, I suppose. Because we don't have to worry about that. Let me see. Let's do C. That's kind of interesting. Interesting. You know, that's an interesting idea. Screens and auto dictation software, Harry Potter-esque moving newspapers, philosophy and sculpting late on Friday night. That's what we're here for. Hey, Jamie. Good to see you, dude. Yeah, I'm a little bit more in my element here versus funny and funny little boats. Yeah, this is like my hobby stuff. This is what I do. Let me see. Let's pull that out. Something like that. Let's see. Color's always like a super interesting thing to play with. I like that better. In fact, I might even play putting that here too. Since they don't need to be different colors, we'll just do that, and then we'll do that, and we'll do that. I like having that separation. Let's see about, let's try taking these a little bit back. Nah, we'll just make them skin. Might have to make like an extra toe or something. I'll have to see. Figure out if I can get that working or not. Let me see. Gotta think about good coloration for these feet. I do know that I want it to go down to, oops. Need some words and stuff. I agree. It's probably not something I would add at this stage. Because he's so low poly. But I don't know. It's something that I was thinking about going through and doing possibly a little while later, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So let's mask off the bottom of the feet. Because that's how we do. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, I think that needs to get more pink down to the toes, less skin tone. That'll feel more like a continuation. It's always kind of tricky when you're playing with skin tones, especially if they are like otherworldly skin tones. let's do something like that. Okay. Since the shape got all dirty down here, got all messed up, gotta kind of come in and reshape it, which is fine. I don't like the shape I'm getting right here, so I gotta fix that. Right? Of course. Alright. Let's see. Yes. So with the materials on this guy in particular, oh, I know what my problem is. That's why. Material, color, fill object. Now I'll start to get more consistent color looks. That was a pain. I was trying to figure out why in the heck it wasn't looking right. It's all because I had the wrong material on there. So thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, so eventually that would definitely be a really good idea. Come on, you. There we go. Definitely like the right thing to do so far as getting the materials to work right, or the character to look right and everything like that. Getting the materials to be as they should, using subsurface and that type of stuff. I want to go through and actually make my own smart materials, matte caps. So my plan is to go through and make my own environment maps and bring those together to be able to make full-on matte caps to be able to play with, to be able to completely, unify my scene, but also to be able to give it give it a nicer look. Let's kind of get this going on here and see. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of our creasing. Okay. And then we've also got to go ahead and we're going to say polygroup, polyloop, polygroup those. And then we'll come over here and we'll say auto groups, invert auto groups. So we have all these different polygroups we can play with, okay, which is great. The other thing we can do is we can say crease PG. The other thing we can do is we can set more polygroups. Or the other thing we can do is we can just come in here and just say crease. The other thing we could do, if we wanted, is we could go in with our creasing options to get like an automatic crease. We could go into our into geometry and crease, and we could set our tolerance to something like, I don't know, 75, somewhere around there. Let's say crease, and that'll go through and it'll crease everything that has an angle greater than 75 or 70 whatever degrees. The trick is getting it to not be so much that you get like all the edges that you don't want to hit. Okay. But let's go ahead, let's hit our dynamics to make sure that's working the way we want it. Let's bump that up to 3. There we go. That's looking better. That's looking more like cloth. Okay, let me see. I want to do extrude polygroup island. If you hold control after you start dragging that out, it'll make you this new island, which is really, really cool. Okay, island. Let's go ahead and say flip island. Let's do something like that. maybe the braids on his shoes are made out of his hair. So maybe we'll make those dark. Yeah. Interesting story about why Japanese prefer wooden shoes and the Chinese leather flats. If I were to assume why, in Japan, houses are built with high floor, so people used to wear thick leather or cotton socks and just slip onto the flip-flops to walk in the streets. The streets in Japan had not many horses and animals walking free, so they were very clean. Interesting. See, I would have assumed because of maybe a difference of climate, having the wooden shoes, especially with like the stilts, keeps them up when there's water in the streets, helps so that they can keep their kimonos out of the water when there's water, wherever they're walking, out of the dirt, keep it from dragging, that sort of thing. It's kind of what I see. Polygroup island, let's do that. Yeah, that's kind of my understanding of ooh, do I like that? I kind of like that. Let's do this. We're gonna go color fill object. Let's come over here. Let's say, let's fill it with this one. Let's fill this one with this one. I don't know that I like that. Of course, I don't know what I would do about it. Let's see. Let's do that, and then let's say maybe we go ahead and we'll just make this kind of a little bit darker. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that feels like it's working. That feels like it's working. Time to save. Cool. Alright, so now just to bring them into our other scene for comparison. Yeah, there are so many other things I want to do with this. Oh well, let's just open this up and just check them out. Let's check them out. Okay. So slowly, this is starting to come together. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay, let's copy the folder. And let's say paste the folder. He's really, really big right now, which means I've got to shrink him down a ton. For what I want. Okay. Yeah, so right now, in comparison to the other character, he's the same size, which I really don't want him to be the same size. So, let's say transpose set. Okay. That is interesting. Okay. So yeah, that's more the size that I want. So I guess just for the sake of making sure that okay, so 0.7. That's where I want that. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the same thing. Transpose set. We're going to hold Alt. We're going to get this like all scaled down to 0.7. And there we go. That's our character size. All right. Whew. That was a crazy evening, guys. That was crazy. Okay. Yep. I think it's time to sign out. So, you have a wonderful morning or day or night or whatever time of day you're in right now, because you deserve it. And thanks for tuning in and watching with me. I had a ton of fun reworking this guy, just so that we can kind of compare for where he was. Let's load in the other one. So yeah, that's where we started off today. I'd say that's a massive improvement. Yeah, let's kind of bring him back over here. Let's say look at that. Look at that. A face that not even a mother could love. Just kidding. But yeah, I feel like he's definitely much more appealing now compared to where he was. He's just got a lot more interest and a lot more character, a lot more believable. So you know, this kind of is the process. Is how you work through stuff. You just gotta have fun with it, right? So anyway, thanks for coming and having fun with me. Thanks for they can be brothers. Yeah, except that neither one of them's the one that Mom wanted, and and Dad wouldn't brag about either of them, and poor things. No, so yeah. Anyway, that's just how it goes, right? That's just how it goes. All right, cool. So yeah, I'll probably go ahead and I'll take that over into Keyshot and render it, and yeah, I'll be ready and waiting for you guys like next week. So we don't know how the mom looked. It's true. It's true. Anyway, next week I hope to go through and start working on the environment part of it again. Now that I'm starting to get a little bit more of an idea of the story and some of the aesthetic, I want to go in more and hold on, I want to go through. I want to save this document real quick because this is cool. I'll just save it like that. Yeah, how about that? Yeah. Okay. Control and let's come over here. So one of the things that I want to start doing is stylizing this rock a little bit more. Started going through and doing that some. But yeah, got a long way to go before this rock looks the way that this chocolate looks the way that I want it to. And even longer before the rest of it is done. But you know, it's coming together. We'll get to start breaking some pieces up, making it feel more like it's separate pieces of chocolate kind of like stacked against each other. Make it feel more edgy and you know, more rugged, like you would expect a chocolate mountain to look, hopefully, you know. So that's the idea. That's the idea, and here we go, forward and upward, and we're on to the victory. Anyway, thanks again, guys. And oh, last question there. Is this for a game or a short film? It's just for a project, just a personal project, just having fun with it. Yeah, lots to do to make it work right. I'll have to share next week also my ideas for what I want to do with the dragon. But yeah, so tune in next week and be sure to check out the ZBrush Live website to see what other presenters are coming up this weekend and this coming week. Lots and lots of really good, just good presenters, good people, good artists involved in the ZBrush Live streaming. So go check it out, go have fun, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.